Good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to thank you for joining us this afternoon. We're going to give it just another couple of minutes to ensure that all registered participants have an opportunity to join us. So if you'll bear with us, we'll begin momentarily. Good afternoon and welcome to all of our webinar participants. My name is Chiquita Jones and I'll be serving as your moderator today. On behalf of the South Carolina NBDA Business Center, operated by DISA Incorporated, and the NBDA COVID-19 project, I would like to welcome you to our Certifications 101 webinar. We hope the information you receive today will be of great use to you and helping you grow your business. I'd like to introduce to you our director, Camille Shaw, to tell you a little bit about what we do at the SCNBDA. Camille?
Thank you, Chiquita. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining today's Certifications 101 workshop. My name is Camille Shaw, and I am the project director of the South Carolina NBDA Business Center, which is operated by DISA Inc. Before we begin, let me give you a quick overview of the center. The South Carolina NBDA Business Center is funded by the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency. Our center works with minority businesses throughout the state of South Carolina to help them scale up and build capacity. We serve as strategic consultants to help small businesses grow to the next level and meet the challenges of today's society and business climate. Last year, we assisted our clients in obtaining over $33 million in contracts and over $53 million in financing. During today's Certification 101 workshop, we would like to share information to you of the various certifications throughout the state that are offered to minority and small businesses, the benefits of these certifications, and how to register. But before we begin, I would like to thank our sponsors for helping us to put on this effort today. And our sponsors include the South Carolina Department of Commerce, as well as the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunity. So thank you again for joining. We hope that this workshop will be beneficial to you. And at this time, I would like to turn the program back over to Chiquita so that she can carry on with the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, Camille. Thank you so much for the introduction. If during the presentation you have any questions, please submit them through the chat box on your screen. All of our questions will be addressed at the end of the presentation today. Because we are anticipating a large number of attendees, we may not get through all of the questions, but we'll do our very best. And any questions that go unanswered today, we will certainly make sure that they are given to the appropriate speaker today to be answered, and we'll email the questions and the answers to the group as a whole. And now I'd like to introduce you to today's presenters. Michael Corp. Good afternoon. Michael is a retired Air Force Senior Master Sergeant who joined the Small Business Administration in 2010 as a Business Opportunity Specialist with the South Carolina District Office, and he became the Lead Business Opportunity Specialist in 2014. In 2018, Michael was selected as the Deputy District Director for this region of the Small Business Administration. Good afternoon, Michael, and welcome. Next, I would like to introduce to you Mr. Greg Davis. With more than 30 years in the business development arena, Greg serves as Director of Minority and Small Business Affairs for the South Carolina Department of Transportation. There, he leads a team of professionals who seek to enhance equal opportunities through contracting, small business development, workforce development, and monitoring. Our next speaker this afternoon is Melissa Lindler. She serves as the Director for the Office of Business Opportunities with the City of Columbia. She's responsible for providing support, training, technical assistance, and capital identification to small, minority, and women-owned businesses in the areas of retail, services, and construction industries. Her duties also include overall management and oversight of the city's commercial revolving loan funds, disparity study implementation, contractor and supplier diversity initiatives, as well as the commercial retention and redevelopment program. Good afternoon, Melissa. Thank you so much for joining us. Our next speaker this afternoon is the fabulous Dominique Simpson Milton, who is President and CEO of the Carolinas Virginia Minority Supplier Development Council. Prior to assuming this role in 2018, she served as their Director of Corporate Services, where she oversaw an affiliate office of the council in Charleston, South Carolina. Along with her experience as a business owner, Dominique brings more than 25 years of corporate experience to the council, so I know she'll have some good information for us today. Thank you, Dominique, and welcome. And we also have with us today Roz Lewis, who is the President and CEO of the Greater Women's Business Council, which is a regional partner organization of the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, where she serves on their board of directors. Her daily responsibilities include leading the Greater Women Business Council's region of more than 1,100 certified women-owned businesses in Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Welcome, Roz. Good afternoon. And just as a quick note, due to a scheduling conflict, the representative from the South Carolina Division of Small and Minority Business Contracting and Certification Office is unable to be here today. But Camille Shaw, nevertheless, she is a wonderful, wonderful resource. Camille has graciously agreed to present information on their behalf today. So Camille, again, thank you so much. Now, without further ado, we will get started with our presentation. Mr. Michael Corp with the Small Business Administration. Michael.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mike Corp here with the SBA. Just want to tell you real quick what we do. We do counseling, contracting, capital, getting SBA loans, and disaster. And a lot of you in the disaster area with COVID-19, you know, the PPP loans, the EIDL loans, restaurant revitalization. So we've got a lot of that stuff going on, which I'm sure you've already heard about. We have resources throughout the state. Our SBA funded resources are the small business development centers, the SCORE offices, Service Corps retired executives, people that have run businesses at various times. And we also have women's business centers. So we have a small office in Columbia with 8 people. We have one person in the Spartanburg area and another person in the Charleston area. So we have good coverage. If you always start off at www.sba.gov, you'll always get to the right areas. So let's get into a quick discussion about federal contracting certifications.
Okay, thank you so much, Michael. What we're going to do today, ladies and gentlemen, is we have a few poll questions sprinkled throughout the presentation. And our first poll question is, when are you required to register in the system for award management, or SAM, at the SAM's Gov site? A, to perform federal contracts. B, to be eligible for federal contracting certifications. C, both A and B. Or D, I've never heard of SAM.
Okay.
Michael, you want to give them the answer?
Yes, the answer is both A and B. There you go. It wasn't all of the above, but you got it. So you have to be ready, and that comes. We'll just go to the next slide, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. So yes, you have to be registered in SAM to be eligible for federal contracts, which is right there in the middle, sam.gov. And also before you can be eligible for some of our preferential contracting programs, which we're going to talk about. Right in the middle there. So it's always sam.gov. Don't put in sam.com. Don't put in SAM in your Google search, because you may come up with some company that will help you register in SAM, but they'll also charge you a fee. $500 is kind of the going rate. You can do it yourself in an hour or two. So you don't want to pay somebody $250 an hour for something you could and probably should do yourself. So with that, to get to that SAM part, and we can send that out. I know there's going to be an email going out. There's a quick reference step-by-step to get registered in SAM. And what I'm going to be talking about today in 15 minutes, we also do like a 2-hour class. So you can always, I'll give you some websites and come back to one of our full classes. So one of the things you want to get is a DUNS number, Dun and Bradstreet number. Takes all of, 10, 15 minutes to, you can even call in or go to the website. And when step 3 there, the commercial and government entity code, CAGE code, sometimes that confuses people. When you register in SAM, it's going to ask you if you have a CAGE code. Even if you didn't know what it was, you always want to put no if you know you don't have one, because it'll automatically assign you one. Let's go to the next slide. We're going to spend a little bit of time on that one. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some of these programs, and you look at that pie. I call it the piece of the pie. Everybody wants a piece of the pie for federal contracts, right? The federal government spends over $500 billion per year on contracts, and of that $500 billion, there's targets or set aside goals, and we want 23% of that to go to small businesses. Then when you go into that 23% area with the nice colors there, we're going to talk about briefly about each one of these areas and give you the basic requirements. So when the federal government says a set aside, when you start off with that big pie, you're talking about large and small businesses and all of these certifications that you could get here. So it includes Walmart per se, the large businesses. So what we want to do is narrow down the competition so you have a better opportunity to get contracts. And that 23%, we've met that goal for the past 4 or 5 years, and even at times that it didn't quite get met, it was right on the borderline. But if you look at a typical contracting agency procurement office, I worked at Shaw Air Force Base as a contracting officer and awarded these contracts, and we probably awarded more like 80 to 85% to small businesses. So I could count on one hand the times that I didn't go to a small business. So everybody's always looking for small businesses. So let's talk about the woman-owned small business program. And all of these are going to have pretty much the same requirement. U.S. citizen, your business is located in the U.S., you're a for-profit, small business, of course, and 51% owned and controlled. You'll hear that a lot. So if you're a woman-owned small business, that means you own and control that business. You're running day-to-day operations. You're going to have woman-owned small business is a little unique because it has NAICS codes, North American Industry Classification Standards. We could do a whole class on that, but hopefully some of you know what that is. That could have been a good question too. So North American Industry Classification Standards, and that's a code, and it's very important because all federal procurement revolves around that code. For example, if you did construction contracts, your NAICS code would be 236220. As a contracting officer, when I'm going to do a set aside for woman-owned small businesses, if you are a woman-owned small business, that narrows the competition even further, because only woman-owned small businesses can compete for that particular contract. There are 2 sides to this woman-owned small business certification. By virtue of 51% owned and controlled and submitting the proper documentation, you can be certified as a woman-owned small business. If you're interested in being an economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business, you would have to submit financial documents such as tax returns, business financials, and things like that. And there's some requirements there. You'll hear the numbers. Your personal net worth has to be below 750,000. Your 3-year average income below 350,000, and all your assets below $6 million. And the women-owned, again, is unique because that has particular NAICS codes. There's actually a list, and you'll find that off our website, and I'm going to give you a link to that. It has a list of NAICS codes, and the ones for economic disadvantage are mainly manufacturing codes. So if you don't do some type of manufacturing, that may not be a certification you want to seek. Let's talk about the second one, the Small Disadvantaged Business Program, otherwise known as the 8A certification, which is 8A of the Small Business Act. This is probably our most popular program, and it is a little more difficult to get into. There's 3 requirements. You have to meet all 3, not just 1, not just 2, all 3. And they are that you've been in business for 2 years, that you're socially disadvantaged, and that you're economically disadvantaged. So if you feel you meet those 3, you want to do some more research. To break it down a little bit for you, socially disadvantaged, if you're Black, Hispanic, Native American, or Asian Pacific, you're automatically considered in the disadvantaged group, automatically considered socially disadvantaged. If you're not in one of those groups, you could also apply for the program under a preponderance of the evidence, where you could show institutional or other discrimination over a long period of time. For example, we have somebody that got into the program in Charleston, and a Caucasian female, and she was considered legally blind. We had another gentleman that was a service disabled veteran, and he had some issues while he was in the military. He was able to document that and still get into the program. It's much more difficult going that route. Again, the numbers, you have to be economically disadvantaged, and the numbers are the same as the woman-owned small business program. That recently changed. It used to be personal net worth below 250. Now it's below 750. 3-year average income below 350, and your assets below 6 million. So those are fairly easy to remember. Usually the personal net worth one is one that comes up most as a potential issue. The third one that I did mention is being in business 2 years, because it is a 9-year business development program. We spend a lot of time. We have business opportunity specialists. I think one of ours is online and may answer some questions in the chat, Stephanie Workman, and I'll have a list on the upcoming slides. So we work a lot with 8A companies to help them with their business development throughout that 9-year period. So the reason for that 2-year in business is because of that reason. It's the only one that has that requirement. If you just started a business today, the question is, would you be ready to do federal contracts tomorrow, a week from tomorrow? Or, we're looking at 2 years. And I tell people it's a good rule, because you're still only going to get 9 years in that program, and then it's done. It's one-time good deal. Our third program is the HUB Zone, historically underutilized business zone. And that is based on where there's 2 requirements for that to remember. You have to be located in a HUB Zone. So there are maps out there, and the maps have really improved. They're really good. You have to punch your address in a map. When you go to the website, I'll give you, it's easy to find. It sticks right out. It has a big blue button. See the HUB Zone map. So you and I can be across the street from each other, somewhere in downtown Columbia, and you're in a HUB Zone. I'm not, because somewhere it has to have that cutoff point, right? So you have to verify your office is in a HUB Zone. And the other reason for the program is for high economically depressed and high unemployment areas. Some of you probably heard of the Opportunity Zone, kind of goes with that. They're 2 separate programs, but the areas are similar. So sometimes if you walk out of your office and you look around and you say, well, this must be in a HUB Zone, don't assume that, because it's based on Census Bureau information. So you have to go to the map and punch in your address. And normally, if we do a long class, we can go on there and type a few addresses in, but it's pretty simple. So the second half of that is for, unemployment. I live in Sumter. So if you had a business in Columbia and I was one of your employees, as long as I reside in a hub zone, I meet that 35% requirement. 35% of your employees must reside in a hub zone. So the example I like to give is if you had 3 people in your office and 2 out of 3 lived in a hub zone, that's 66%, right? And then Monday morning, one of your employees comes in and they said, hey, I moved this weekend. So now you may fall back down to 33%. And it's a little gray area, and the SBA has really improved the way they look at that. So you have time to get back up to that 35% requirement. And again, if there were a hub zone set aside, that means if you have hub zone certification, you are the only one, you are the only one that can compete for that contract. You have to be hub zone certified. So it's really good if you meet, if you can get certified in some of these programs, because the contracting officers, you see next to their goals, 5, 5, 3, and 3, that's their goals. So they determine which route to take. The hub zone one has been historically one of the hardest ones to meet for the SBA. So it's something to look at. Last one is probably the easiest one. Service disabled veteran owned small business. When you register in SAM, System for Award Management, www.sam.gov, not sam.com, sam.gov, you are going to self-certify if you're a service disabled veteran owned small business. So by virtue of self-certifying, when the contracting officer, just to go back to SAM a bit, when they're looking for companies that can meet the requirements, say I had to remodel a building or something like that, and I say I want to do a service disabled veteran owned small business set aside, I'm going to go look in SAM and see how many companies show up, especially hopefully in the state too first. And that's how I'm going to make that decision. So that's all you have to do for a service disabled veteran owned small business. And it's based on, you have a disability with the VA, you have a letter from the VA, and it says you're 0 to 100% disabled. And some of you veterans, I'm one myself, thanks for your service. You should know what that is. If not, call our office. Now, the other question that always comes up is the VA certification. So if you want to do work for the VA, the Veterans Administration, you have to go through the VA to get to their certification procedures. And again, if you go to our website, it'll link you right over to the VA. So anybody but the VA, you have the Service Disabled Veteran Owned Small Business Program. The VA has their own. They give priority to veterans, to service disabled veterans and veteran owned small businesses. The SBA only has only has service disabled veteran owned small business. Down at the bottom there, basically says set asides between the micro purchase, $10,000 and $250 are within the simplified acquisition procedures, and they must go to a small business. Keep in mind, some of those smaller purchases, especially below $10,000, you can actually do those on a government purchase card. So there is another method to get to the requirements, especially small. They could help you get your foot into the door. Let's move on to the next slide. There's only a couple left. So here's where you want to start. For any of the certifications, it's going to be a one-stop shop. If you start at certified.sba.gov, you will get to all the information that you want to know for certifications. And there is actually a good program in there. It says, am I eligible? And all the things I just talked about, and it'll even go in more detail. It'll be yes or no questions. You go through there. Are you a woman-owned small business? Are you a veteran? Are you in a hub zone? You know, it'll ask you about the socially, economically disadvantaged. Have you been in business for 2 years? And at the end of that, it'll tell you the programs that you're eligible for. Not all inclusive. So if there's something you're not sure of, give us a call. But it'll tell you all the programs you're eligible for, and it'll direct you to the appropriate site to start your application. Next slide. And this is kind of the main websites right here. So when I was talking about the woman-owned or 8A programs, you'll have these links. If you start there, our website is actually really good. It'll take you through everything you want to know. Very organized. There's checklists and things like that to get you through the application process. And of course, you can always call our office. That's what we're here for. Again, we do at the bottom there, upcoming classes. We do classes, a full class that'll take 2 hours that we go through all this stuff for you in a little more detail. But this should give you a good idea of where you want to go. Do you want to get registered in SAM as a small business? Then you can compete with other small businesses for federal contracts. If you think you're eligible for one of the programs, go click on the links and do some research and get with us and start your applications. Final slide here is just our point of contacts. Again, we have 3 business opportunity specialists. And of course, I was the one before taking this position. So there's plenty of help out there. All 3 out of 4 of us have actually been contracting officers. So we're familiar with how the other side of things work. Thank you for your time. And I'll monitor the chat and see if there's any questions in there also.
Thank you so much, Michael. I certainly appreciate all of that information. And ladies and gentlemen, he has an abundance of information for you. And as we indicated earlier, if you do have a question, you may go ahead and submit it in the chat room, because as the webinar progresses, our speakers are able to answer some of your questions prior to the end of the webinar question and answer session. Our next speaker up this afternoon is Mr. Greg Davis, and he is with the South Carolina Department of Transportation. Good afternoon, Greg.
Good afternoon, Chiquita. Good afternoon to everyone. And thank you, MBDA, for allowing us to share a little bit about our DBE program with SCDOT. Over the last year, we've learned several new words and phrases like social distancing, and quarantining, and pivoting. Well, this afternoon, I am going to have to pivot a little bit by turning off my video due to some unstable internet connections we have. But this will help ensure that we get to the presentation without locking up. So without further ado, let's move to the next slide. To begin our presentation, we want to talk a little bit about becoming certified as a DBE. Now, one of the things I quickly have noticed is that there are 2 types of participants on the seminar today. There are those of you who need certification, and then there are others of you who are already certified. So we're going to spend a little time talking about the process of becoming DBE certified, and then a little time at the very end talking about the benefits of being certified. So the first, with regards to the process, the first thing we need to understand is the eligibility criteria. There are 4 criteria for being a business that's eligible for DBE certification. You must be socially disadvantaged, economically disadvantaged. There's an ownership criteria, and then there's also information about control. And we'll briefly talk about each of them. Next slide, please. There are 6 groups that we list as being socially disadvantaged. Those individuals who are women, Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Pacific Americans, subcontinent Asian Americans, and Native Americans. Those are the groups that are presumed to be disadvantaged. There are some additional groups, however, they're done on a case-by-case basis. With regards to being economically disadvantaged, the owner's personal net worth must not exceed $1.32 million. And under this program, we do discount your primary residence. For all of you who own houses at the beach, unfortunately, that's a part of your personal net worth. And our gross receipts must be capped at $26.29 million per year. And that total is averaged over a 3-year period. So in those years that you may do $30 million, we average it with the year before and the year after. Next slide. As with the SBA program, the qualifying applicant must own at least 51% of the small business. And with regards to the control element, the applicant must demonstrate real and substantial control of the daily operation of the business. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit more. Next slide, please. Now, as a part of the process for becoming DBE certified, there's several things that will occur. The first thing you have to do is submit an application. The application talks about company information. We'll ask when the company was formed, your initial investment and how you came about getting that investment and what you use that investment for. Obviously, we want your NAICS codes, and we want some information about the products and services that you provide. We have questions about ownership. Information include what percentage of ownership each individual has. And we also ask for resumes for everyone who has at least 10% ownership in the company. Then personal net worth, we've talked about that already. There's a form that you fill out that helps you to calculate that personal net worth to ensure that it's less than $1.32 million. Likewise, we'll need tax returns for your business just to ensure that you're underneath the $26.29 million. And quite frankly, we also want to make sure that that you are a for-profit business. In the event your company does not have personal taxes, does not have business taxes, we'll then ask for your personal income taxes. Then last but not least, we ask for proof of control. We ask you to list the duties that each owner provides. For example, if the person who is considers themselves as the 51% person who owns the company, and the only thing they do is answer the telephones, then that is showing that that person does not control the company. In addition, we look at your signature card. If the person who's listed as the 51% owner of the card must get signatures from two others in order to write a check, then again, there are questions about proof of control. Next slide, please. Some things to keep in mind about the certification application process is that an incomplete DBE application, if you submit one, you'll receive a request for information which is due within 14 calendar days. So we encourage everyone to look at the checklist that's a part of the certification application. Complete as much as you can, because when you submit that information and you don't include information, the clock is still running, but we require that you have submitted within 14 days. As a part of the certification process, we also include an on-site review. One of our certification analysts will come to your place of business. We'll look at the equipment that you said that you own. We'll look at those things that you have on hand, and we'll also do an interview with you as the owner of the firm. If we need some additional information as a result of that on-site visit, you'll be required to submit that information within 2 days. Now, once the process is complete, applicants will then receive a written approval or a denial letter. And as a part of that denial letter, steps are listed so that you'll know how, if you'd like to challenge that denial, the process by which you do that. One question that many folks have is, how long does this certification process last for DBE application? For those of you who are in state, the DBE certification process can last up to 90 calendar days. And for those of you who are involved with interstate DBE applications, it's up to 60 days. The reason why the interstate is a little bit less is because with the interstate application, interstate certification, you are required to become certified in your home state. So all the information that we need on the application should be complete, which lessens the time. In addition, if you're an out-of-state firm, we rely on the on-site review from your home state so that there's no need for an in-person certification on-site review. Next slide, please. And we have a question.
Thank you so much. How is the DBE certification program used? A, the program is used by SCDOT to meet its minority and women-owned business goals. B, SCDOT and other state and local government agencies use the program to help identify firms that provide needed goods and services. C, all entities receiving funds from the U.S. Department of Transportation are required to report their spending with businesses that are in the program, or D, all of the above. Greg, you want to do the honors with the answer?
The answer is D, all of the above. And on the next slide, we'll actually discuss each of those. And the next slide that we have, again, the benefits of the DBE program. As was mentioned in the question prior that we just went through, the poll question, one of the benefits is that we provide access to government contracting opportunities. When you become certified as a DBE, not only are you certified with us, but other organizations like SMBCC, which is the South Carolina Division of Small and Minority Business Contracting and Certifications, or some people refer to it as the Governor's House. You're certified with them literally by just signing a document. Other cities like the City of Columbia, once you're certified with us, they automatically certify you as a part of their program. Second benefit that we've listed is that it permits the inclusion into a directory used by many companies to locate contractors and subcontractors for projects. As we mentioned before, there are other individuals or other entities that receive US DOT monies. They're looking to meet their DBE goals. So entities like airports and the bus system here in Columbia and across the state, even those who produce buses. There's an electronic bus company in Seneca in the upstate near Clemson called Patera. They use our database directory in order to find those who can provide them products and services because they received US DOT monies. Thirdly, it serves as a tool to network with prime contractors, other DBEs, and state agencies that work with small businesses. On a daily basis, we have folks who are looking for subcontractors, and they call us asking for DBEs, or they reach out to us in order to get our list. And then last but not least, it allows for participation in a variety of supportive services. These services are offered through our Business Development Center, which is directed by Anthony Cromati. The center will help with marketing, they'll help with all sorts of training opportunities. In addition, once you receive a contract, Director Gary Lynn, James Cooper, and his technical assistance team will help you with technical assistance just to make sure that you're successful in the contract that you won with SCDOT. And I think we have one slide left. Yes, and since we have only one slide left, I could turn my camera back on. So for more information about our DBE certification program, we first of all invite you to visit our website. It has a host of information about the certification process, the benefits, and everything that I've talked about today is listed there. If there's a question you have and the answer is not there, please feel free to call the number that's listed. In addition, if you'd like to schedule an appointment with our Business Development Center and have a one-on-one session with one of our business development analysts, just so we can talk about your business and how you can best position yourself to gain opportunities with SCDOT, we invite you to email us at scdbe@scdot.org. I appreciate this time and thank you for your patience.
Well, thank you, Greg. Again, this is Camille Shaw, and I will tell you more about the South Carolina Division of Small and Minority Business Contracting and Certification Office. Greg has already described to you how once you receive SCDOT certification, you can be grandfathered in, or other agencies will accept their certification as an MBE or DBE. So I'm just here to tell you today about the SMBCC program, which is a state office. They are designed to promote the interests of small and minority-owned businesses and to enhance the economic growth and development of firms in South Carolina. This office connects with minority and women-owned businesses to state contracting and procurement opportunities through the Materials and Management Office. That's where the procurement comes out for state projects. This division works with the state agencies to implement and monitor minority contracting programs in accordance with the state's policies, laws, regulations, and guidelines. This office also provides technical assistance, which includes seminars, trainings, one-on-one consulting, MBE goal setting for agencies. They develop a potential vendors list and also assist with dispute resolution. It provides assistance to the state's procurement officials, prime contractors, as well as general contractors to help identify certified minority-owned businesses throughout the state. So this office certifies if a business in South Carolina is owned, controlled, and operated by a socially and economically disadvantaged minority-owned business who is a U.S. citizen. And this is the same requirement as Greg has described earlier. So in 2012, this office entered into a memorandum of understanding with DOT so that businesses that are certified by DOT meets the state requirements, they will receive the SMBCC certification without going through the additional certification process. So for the SMBCC, that certification period is good for 5 years. Next slide, please. So the benefits, these are some of the benefits of the certification with the state. Each state agency has a, that has construction procurement are required to have a MBE utilization plan, which emphasizes that agency to utilize minority businesses for procurement. Also, for professional service contracts that are less than $50,000, they may be negotiated directly with the certified minority business. It's also my understanding that agencies that have construction contracts can designate that procurement towards a certified minority firm for competitive bids, as well as prime contractors who bid with the state and award subcontracts to minority-owned certified firms. They are eligible for a 4% tax credit of the payments that they pay out to the minority sub. So if you're planning to apply for DBE certification with SCDOT, please apply with SCDOT first. That way you are grandfathered in with the SMBCC as long as you are a South Carolina-based business and your net worth is under $1.32 million. Next slide, please. So for additional information, please contact the Division of Small and Minority Business Contracting and Certification Program. I hope this information has been helpful. And if you have any questions, please contact them so that they can answer your specific questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Camille. Thank you so much for being available to us to call upon today to fill in for them. Thank you so much for the information. Our next presenter this afternoon is Melissa Lindler with the City of Columbia, representing the Office of Business Opportunities. Good afternoon, Melissa. I think Melissa's going to start off with the poll question this afternoon. I think she kind of wants to gauge where you all are. So if you'll please proceed with the poll question. Do you currently do business with your local city or county? Got a pretty good mix of answers here. Melissa?
Good. Thanks. That's awesome. Let's see. Wow. 69% said they don't currently do business with their local municipality or county government. Next slide, please. Good afternoon, everyone. That's interesting, but it's not uncommon. A lot of our businesses, small businesses around the state, are not aware of the great resource and opportunities that your local municipalities and county government can offer you. Today, I just want to share with you some of the different programs that we have at the City of Columbia. First, I just want to share with you our office. What do we do? The Office of Business Opportunities, we support initiatives that support our small, minority, women-owned, veteran-owned businesses. We do that through 3 different realms: commercial lending for startup or existing businesses. We do it through our contractor and supplier diversity program, as well as we provide technical assistance, education, and advocacy for our small business community. What I want to share with you today are specific programs that you may be able to actually access to give you an opportunity to work with us. And of course, we certainly are always looking for more diverse commercial partners to work with, and also to perform some of the services that we need through our city government. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about our subcontractor outreach program, our mentor protege program, our local business enterprise program, and the Columbia Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. Next slide, please. First, I want to share with you, as I stated, the City of Columbia, we're committed to making sure that our minority vendors have access to opportunities. In 2015, our city manager actually implemented a citywide 10% goal to make sure that vendors are working with the city, that our city departments are working across the city with our minority vendors. That goal was increased in 2019 to 15%. So right now we're at, last fiscal year, we met that goal at 15.04%. So what does that mean? That means that operational dollars across departments, at least 15.4%, or $31 million was actually spent doing business with our minority vendors. Now, when I say businesses, small businesses, contractors, goods and services, printing, purchasing of supplies and materials, all of that goes into this number. Next slide, please. One of the first things that you need to do in order to do business with the City of Columbia is register in our eBid system. Now, once you register, make sure you're very, very specific about the areas of specialties that you have and what your capabilities are. This system is used to send out all of our bid materials, but also when we're looking at trying to our vendor management system, to manage that system as well. Next slide, please. Now, to go a little bit more into our supplier diversity efforts, as well as our efforts to build the capacity of our local small businesses, these different programs right here, the Mentor Protege Program, the Subcontractor Outreach Program, and our Columbia Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program have been specifically designed to help build that capacity. And as Greg stated earlier, we utilize the certifications of DOT as well as SCMBCC in making sure that our certified DBEs are used in these different programs. First, the Mentor Protege Program. This, of course, is water and sewer based, but again, this is open and it's designed to help build the capacity of our minority vendors in water and sewer specifically. Subcontractor Outreach Program. This program, we don't use that much anymore, but it's still operational. This is more specifically making sure that we use our subcontractors locally within our combined statistical areas of Richland County, Orangeburg, Lexington, Kershaw, Fairfield, Calhoun, Newberry, and Richland. So those are the different areas. The Columbia Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program actually was just started in 2016. And more recently, we actually revised our policy to update our guidelines. This program is, again, we work directly with our South Carolina Department of Transportation, SCBCC, as well as other certifying agencies. And we use those certifications. So once you're certified through them, we actually use that certification to certify you as a Columbia Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. And again, this program is very, very specific. We look at the actual project, and we actually apply specific goals to projects based on the availability, willingness, and where they're located, the different CDBEs or DBEs in our state. So this is a great program. We certainly would like for you to, participate in this, and you'll get these slides and more information later so that you can do so. Next slide. The Local Business Enterprise Program, it's assigned to any project valued not to exceed $500,000. But if you're an LBE, again, you have to be located within our 8 county CSA. Once you're an LBE, you can actually use this preference to secure a bid if you're the second to lowest bidder. For instance, if it's a construction contract, you're not the lowest bidder, but you're second to the lowest bidder. If your bid is within 5% of the lowest bidder and you're an LBE, you can actually use your preference and secure that contract. So this is a very, very great program to be a part of. Again, if you're local and you're within our 8 county CSA, please contact us for additional information about how to become an LBE. Next slide. Again, we are very, 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 very committed to making sure that we're doing business with our local vendors. This year, because of COVID, we actually developed a minority business directory of our city departments and our community partners that shows you the different products and services that we offer or that we purchase, and how you can actually make contact with those different departments if you would like to become a vendor with the city. We also have information in there about our community partners who we work with, and it's a great, great tool. This is something that we're going to continue to do as we move forward because of how well received it was. Next slide. If you would like to learn more, again, please contact our office. The information is up there. You can reach us via phone. We're answering our calls. We have returned back to work, so we're in the office, 803-545-3950, or send an email to obo@columbiasc.gov. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Melissa. And ladies and gentlemen, I know that you all have been receiving a lot of information this afternoon, a lot of good, solid information, and I hope you're able to absorb it. Please remember to refer to the chat box or your Q&A. Our presenters are busy answering questions as we speak. If you have a question that you need an answer to, they'll be more than happy to give you an answer as opposed to waiting until the end of the session. Our next presenter this afternoon is Dominique Simpson Milton, who is President and CEO of the Carolinas Virginia Minority Supplier Development Council. Good afternoon, Dominique.
Good afternoon, Chiquita, and thank you so much for having me. So today I want to share, I'll start off with my personal story because you've heard from my peers about how to get certified, but I want to talk to you more about the value of certification to get started. I used to be an MBE, and when I was an MBE, through the certifications that we had, and trust me, we had every certification you can have. We were 8A certified, women-owned, DBE, minority-owned. So we had every certification that you can get. And we went from $0 from a concept to over $20 million in 6 years, not just because we were certified, but because we engaged with the certifying agencies that we worked with. So today I want to talk to you about how fast you can grow alone and how fast you can grow with advocacy groups. Advocacy groups really help you to expand your reach. Next slide, please. So this was me in the middle. I had a better makeup job that day, but I wanted to be Oprah and Martha all rolled into one. I wanted to have the cookies baked and have the business done, and I couldn't understand how they could get more done than I could get done. But when I realized that the more help you have, the more you can accomplish, and they have tons and tons of help to help them achieve what they need to achieve. So today we want to talk about tapping into your resources, and those resources being all the advocacy groups that you've heard from today, as well as CVMSTC. Next slide. So I always like to share this slide because some people say, oh, I just can't find a supplier to do what I need them to do. And I share this to say that we have products and services across all industries, from startups to billions, from sauce to jets. In the bottom left quadrant, you see the Charleston Gourmet Burger Company. They started out in their kitchen and now they have national distribution across the US. They also have a retail readiness program to help you if you need assistance understanding how to get in touch with the Walmarts of the world and how to get national distribution. In the left quadrant, you have Fatima Caldas, and she has a company with Fire Solution called Fire Solutions. Every company out there needs to have fire extinguishers and products to really help them combat fires. And so she is available for that. On the bottom right, we have Glenn Gonzalez. And Glenn started out in COVID, he was less than $10 million. During COVID, he was able to double his business, double his fleet. And if you need to get a jet on an hourly basis, he's available. Or if you want to sign up for a monthly subscription, he's available for that also. My favorite top right quadrant is Janice Bryant Howard, a North Carolina native. She started out with a concept and was the first African-American woman to build and own a billion-dollar company. And it was a staffing company called Act One. So here you can see, again, going from sauce to airplanes, from concept to billions. And we don't have any limitations. There were a few of my peers who talked about limitations in terms of revenue. We have no limitations. It does not matter the size of your business. We have one gentleman who started with $200 in his garage and is now at $12 billion, and they are our largest MBE. Next slide. This is an important slide for you to understand because we're talking about certification and the value of getting certified. But I want to talk about the economic impact of supplier diversity. Why is it important for companies to engage MBEs in the process? MBEs is a minority business enterprise. For every dollar in revenue that a company spends employing a small business, a minority business, there's $1.72 that trickles back into the economy. How is that, you say? For jobs, they're able to hire people to create the products and services that they've been hired to create. They're able to provide those incomes, and they're able to make a community development impact through the buildings that they have to build or the rents they have to pay. And there's also taxes involved. So you can see there's a trickle down effect for employing minority businesses and small businesses. Next slide. So I never like to have a presentation without sharing what our mission is and how we operate. So CVMSDC is a 44-year-old advocacy group, and that we're local to North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. NMSDC is our parent organization, and they are 49 years old, and they have an international impact. The mission at CVMSDC is to expand the business opportunities for minority businesses and create mutually beneficial links between corporate partners and MBEs. The ultimate outcome is to add economic value to the supply chain while increasing economic opportunities in the business community. I like to keep things simple, so I say we just help to grow wealth with national opportunities. So the way we're structured, you see us there in the middle, CVMSDC. I have a team of 7. I call my small and mighty team. We're all accessible. Up above, we have 6 rings. I like to look at those 6 rings as our 6 corporate roundtables that are geographically positioned in our footprint. So we have 2 in South Carolina, and 3 in North Carolina, and 1 in Virginia. So anyone listening can join one of those meetings by going to our calendar at cvmsdc.org, clicking on events in our calendar, and you can sign up to attend one of our ring meetings to see what's going on. But basically, at those conference tables, we are having conversations about opportunities that are available. Our MBEs are networking with our corporate partners. We're rolling up our sleeves, and we're being very planful and very intentional about the work that we're accomplishing. Then on the left, you have our member base of 13,000 MBEs. On the right, our member base of 1,500 plus corporate partners. And then down below, our community partners, most of the individuals you heard from today are our community partners. Okay, next slide. So again, keeping things simple, there are 4 quadrants of our work. First and foremost, we are the largest certifying agency in America for ethnic minority businesses. Now, our certification, unlike some of the other certifications that you heard about, is a private certification, so it is a paid certification. There is a fee that you have to pay every year. And you have to be recertified every year. Just because you're an MBE this year does not mean that you have the same status next year. You could have changed ownership. or anything could have happened. And so we make sure that you go through the recertification process each year, but trust me, the second year, it's much, much easier. Once you get certified, we like to think that we hang our hat on development. We provide developmental opportunities to make sure that you are the best of the best, that you understand how to pivot, how to prepare your business to address the changing needs of our corporate partners, and that you're forward thinking. And so we provide scholarships for our MBEs to attend these developmental programs. So you might invest maybe $400, $600 to become a member, but we in turn give you $5, $10, $15,000 to help you develop your business. So development is key for us. And we send folks to programs like Tuck, University of Richmond. We have a Sunoco leadership program. Capital One has a few programs. And most recently, we just sent somebody to a CVS development program. That's CVS the pharmacy. So development is key. And just like a car needs a tune-up, you need to be constantly looking at tuning up your businesses. And then connection. That is what we are all here for, right? You want to make those connections. You want to make sure that the doors are open and you can actually get in to bid on contracts. So they're business to corporate connection opportunities and their business to business opportunities. Never lose sight of the opportunity for the ability for you to work with other MBEs who are on this call while you're waiting for that big contract with a corporation like a Boeing or a BMW. Work with each other while you're waiting for the big contract. So connection is what we're all about. We have about 4 connecting events a year where we allow you to match make, come into the same room around the ring table to meet with people that you want to do business with. Now, I always tell people, you have to drive your own car. You have to put your own gas in the car. When you get there, you have to open the door yourself, but we help get you there faster. It's kind of like the HOV lane on the highway. We get you there faster, but you have to do the work. Then finally, the 4th pillar is advocacy. Just by the sheer nature of the size of our organization, we help to advocate for our business owners on a national, regional, and local level. When we went into COVID, we helped to advocate to keep the lights on, the water running for small businesses. We were able to raise over $3 million to provide grants for some of our businesses to help them rebuild. We were able to provide some PPP funding for organizations that could not get PPP funding through traditional resources. So there you have it, folks. We certify, we develop, we connect, and we advocate. Next slide. Okay, who certifies with CVMSDC? Certification, as you've heard a little bit earlier from some of my peers, evaluates the ownership, the management, control, citizenship, expertise, and independence of a company. You must be 51% owned, managed, and controlled by one or more ethnic minorities who are US citizens. You must be for profit. We don't deal with non-for-profit companies. A company must become certified in the council where their business is headquartered. So you need to be, for CVMSDC, you need to certify in North Carolina, South. If your business is located in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, you can certify with us. If it's located in Georgia or some other state, you need to certify in that particular state, and then you can get a reciprocity agreement with us and become a subscriber with our agency. Companies, owners, as you heard earlier, must demonstrate expertise in the core mission of their business. A company must be an independent entity that can demonstrate real and substantial ownership. So we don't want it, you can't just say, okay, this person, my wife is running the business and then she has no understanding of the business. There needs to be real and substantial understanding and operation of the business. And you've heard that from quite a few of my peers previously. So what do you do? What are the next steps? So we have a pre-certification class that you can attend. If you go to my website at cvmsdc.org, and I'll put it in the chat, you go there, you click on events, then you click on calendar, and there are pre-certification classes that you can attend that go more in depth into what I've just covered today. We just had one today, and so every month we have one on the last Wednesday of the month, I think it is. So please go there to register for that class. Then there's a portal that you can register in. That is on our website. You go to the portal, you register, you get a password, an ID, and then you can start to upload all of the paperwork that we're asking you for. It's about 30 documents that we're looking for. So it's quite intensive, but trust me, once you get it done, you're ready for any bank that you need to go to, and it's much simpler the next year. Third, you need to pay the fee. So the fees are based on a sliding scale based on where you are in your revenue, and I have a slide on that next. but you pay those fees. And then we will come out and we'll do a site visit to make sure that you are who you say you are and that all your paperwork is legitimate. If you operate out of your home, we will meet you in a neutral spot so that we can have the site visit there just to meet you. And right now we're doing all of our site visits virtually. So we will Zoom in with you or team in with you and do the site visit. Then once we have all the paperwork, we've done the site visit, then we take you to committee for review. There's a committee of 9 corporate partners who will review all of the paperwork and they will vote on you. And then once you've been approved, if you are approved, then you can attend a post-certification class where we explain how to engage with cvmsdc.org. Okay, next slide, please. So here are the different levels of fees. We go from class 1 to class 4. As you can see on the left, class 1 is under $1 million, it's $400. Class 4 is over $50 million and the fee is $1,500. Recertification is $50 less for each one of those levels. And then as I was saying before, the subscription fee, if your company is based outside of South Carolina, North Carolina, or Virginia, you can certify where you're listed or registered as a business, and then you can subscribe to us if you want to take advantage of the benefits that we have to offer here. And so those are the subscription fees. It is an intentional investment, folks. As I said earlier, ours costs money, others may be free, but from experience, it is best to certify with as many agencies as you can because each agency offers you some different benefits. Next slide. All right, that is it. Allow advocacy groups to help you expand your reach. Reach us at info@cvmsdc.org, attend a pre-certification class, register at www.cvmsdc.org under events and calendar for our upcoming events. And I do want to put a plug in. We have our largest event coming up August 2nd and 3rd. It is BOC 21. I invite each of you to register for that. You do not have to be a member to register for our events. It's just a slightly different fee. But at that particular event, we're going to be talking about growing your mindset, how you grow your businesses from millions to billions. And we're going to have some billionaires there to talk to you about their journey. We have one, again, who started out at $200 in his garage, and now it's a $12 billion business. Janice Bryan Howroyd has agreed to be one of our speakers, and her story is phenomenal. So please plan to be there. For our members, we have matchmaking classes, matchmaking sessions, as well as workshops for you to attend. So I thank you for the time. I will be answering questions in the chat, but please, please, please drop your questions in the chat and I'm available to meet with you one-to-one if you want to. Thank you so much. Oh, there's 2 videos. When you get this presentation, there are 2 videos that you can watch on your own. One is Connie Home, and she talks about how being a member of this organization really helped her catapult her business. And she talks about being intentionally engaged with our organization to really maximize the benefit. And next is the couple out of Charleston who really utilized this opportunity to catapult their business to go from their kitchen to national distribution. So really 2 great videos to watch, 2 great success stories. I hope you take the time to look at them and please reach out to us. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Dominique. Wow. 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 Tremendous information. And thank you so much, Dominique, for monitoring the chat room and the question and answer box, because we've had quite a few questions that I'm sure you'll be able to assist our attendees with this afternoon. Our final presenter for the day is Roz Lewis with the Greater Women's Business Council, who also has a tremendous amount of information to share with you today. And I know that you all will find this helpful as well. Good afternoon, Roz.
Good afternoon, Chiquita. And thank you so much for inviting the Greater Women's Business Council to participate in this experience, especially with the other presenters and as well as the fabulous attendees. So this is going to be a quick overview because you have heard quite a bit of information about certification, whether it's in the private sector or the public sector. And I encourage you to actually get certified with both, because you always want to diversify your portfolio of opportunities and customer base. And so with the Greater Women's Business Council, one of the things, especially after COVID, we're looking at how we are reforming our organization, creating more resilience, and more importantly, reimagining it as we move into the next normal. Next slide. As a part of a huge network of women businesses, the Greater Women's Business Council is a regional partner organization of the Women's Business Enterprise National Council out of Washington, D.C. So there are 13 other regional partner organizations across this country that do similar to what we do in providing certification for women-owned businesses. Our locations, of course, are Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. And again, we are a part of this network of 17,000 certified women businesses. Next. The certifications that we provide, the two for you to focus on are the WOSB certification, which you heard Mike talk about earlier, as well as the WBANK certification. One of the differences with us as a third-party certifier for the WOSB is that you must be certified through WBANK first. We carry you through that process first. And then if you meet the NAIC codes qualifications, there are about 87. However, with WBANK, we only certify WOSB at this time. We do not certify EDWOSB, but stay tuned. And with that, of course, you've heard about what it takes to become WOSB certified. I encourage you to do that for public sector opportunities. Keep in mind, it took us a long, long time to get that set aside. And that's why more women businesses really need to try and meet that criteria within those industry codes. For the WBANK certification, it is a 60 to 90-day process. In order to get certified with us, we ask for a lot of information, but the good news is that your business is going to be structured as it should be structured, whether you're LLC, a corporation, or a sole proprietor. And that is important when it comes to what we call the letter of the law of your business. Next. Oh, excuse me. On the WBANK link, one thing just to mention is the fact that all of your information is going to be warehoused in WBANK link 2.0, and that's where you're going to upload quite a bit of the documentation that we're requiring. That's where you start your application for recertification. Everything is digitized, which is great. And so no more paper, which is exciting. And one of the things I want to focus on here on this slide is just basically our mission. You know, like Dominique had mentioned earlier with CVMS DC, is how we work very diligently to support you through a development process, an engagement process, networking, and hopefully that translates to procurement opportunities. Currently, we have about 1,100 certified women businesses throughout our 3 states. We have about 44 major corporations and government entities. And we also have 18 board of directors, which are comprised of women businesses and our major corporations representing all 3 states. Next. Here are some of just a few of the programming that we offer, because that's key and important. Once you are certified, you do not have to be certified in order to attend as a 501c3. However, we think the value proposition in getting certified are through one, our radio show that we have for women businesses. Our goal is to elevate you, to give you visibility. And if you feel that you can walk into any radio station and say, let me talk about my business for 20 minutes, just text me or give me some information in the chat room as to what that radio station is. So the goal is to give visibility, to raise you all above the NAD noise and showcase your business. And so the average downloads that's been occurring with these different interviews on our radio station is around 9,000. And we encourage our certified women businesses to continue to promote themselves through this at gwbcradio.com. And so that's one location you can go and hear some of the information from our women businesses that may also help you in your business. We also have Maintaining the Health of Your Business, and those are webinars of development for you, especially all that we've been through over the last year with COVID. It's really key and important, that you are being structured for the next normal, that your operations and your business is set up for the next normal. And then our Mornings with GWBC is an opportunity for our corporations to talk to you about what's going on in their supply chains, how strategic sourcing may be taking a different path of securing diversity spin. And so we want to make sure that you're up to date with that information. It's a half an hour show, and it's great information within that time frame that starts out your week. And those are held on Mondays. And of course, who doesn't like a happy hour? Because after working all day, and there's no such thing as a 40-hour work week for business owners. And so it's an opportunity for you to network with other women businesses or even other corporations that participate in it. And then we have our mentor protege program. And the reason we developed that now over 11 years ago is because the two largest challenges for women businesses are access to capital and mentoring. And so with this program, which we're in the middle of our class of 2021, where we have corporations mentoring our women businesses, as well as other successful women businesses mentoring our women businesses, because our goal is for you to grow. Our goal is for you to succeed. Next. So in talking about the WBENC certification, because again, you've heard about so many different ones, is one of the things to keep in mind is a world-class certification process. One of the things we do is 100% site visit. So one of the things to keep in mind, whether you're home-based or have traditional space or even in a WeWork type environment, we are going to come and visit you to ask you a few more questions about your business, trying to ensure the integrity of the certification process. We offer monthly webinars. Those are held on Thursdays, and we encourage you to sign up for any of those that you'll find on our website in order to find out more about the details of how to get certified. And so that's one thing that's important. You'll also see the criteria on our website that will link you to the national umbrella of WBENC to give you more insight and details, depending upon how you're structured, regarding what you're going to need to submit to us from a certification process. So we encourage you to do that. One thing that's a little bit different for the NMSDC versus WBENC is that we do accept resident alien cards. We do accept permanent legal residence cards for certification. And also keep in mind for women of color, because I saw one note in the chat is, wow, you got all these certifications, which one should I apply for? You should apply for as many as you are able to qualify for. That's the only time I'm going to use that word qualified, is under the certification process. Otherwise, you're trying to be competitive for the contracts. So look at it from that perspective and look at these opportunities. Women of color can get certified with the Minority Council as well as the Women Council, long as you're on the next slide, 51% owned, operated, and controlled. So those are the things that are going to be key in determining whether or not you meet the criteria for NMSDC as well as WBENC. Next slide. And so this is some of the information that we talked about. I talked about earlier as far as the integrity of the certification process, knowing that your information is secure. And that is something with all of these entities is our goal is to make sure that information, we know your private businesses, that your information is secure with us as we take you through the application process. And so you can always go to gwbc.org for more information about our organization and opportunities in order to grow and develop your business. And we're wishing all of you all a success in your track or journey, I should say, in becoming the best that you can be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roz, and thank you so very much to all of our presenters today. I hope that this information that was presented to you this afternoon was extremely helpful to you. Our presenters are going to be available for the next 10 minutes or so to finish answering any questions that have not yet been addressed. And as I alluded to earlier, if we are unable to get to your question today, or you feel like you need additional information, we will certainly try to get the answer for you and have that emailed to you. If at this time we have not addressed your question thus far in the chat box, because we have received so many questions this afternoon, if you wouldn't mind retyping your question, we're going to spend maybe 10 more minutes answering questions this afternoon, and we will do our very best to get to all of the questions that we have. If I could get our presenters on screen, we will go ahead and address any additional questions we have this afternoon. Thank you. I will read the questions as they arrive. One question, and I think Dominique, this may apply to you, was the subscription fee that you referred to. Is that a monthly fee?
I was talking to the mute button. That's an annual fee.
Thank
And
you.
again, the return on that investment is immeasurable.
Thank you very much, Dominique. We have a question that says, if I am part of a nonprofit, is there any way to obtain certification? If so, where should I register? Anybody want to take that?
Well, with SCDOT's DBE program, unfortunately, you must be a for-profit business.
Same with SBA.
Same with CVMSDC.
And the same for WeBank, the same for GWBC as well. You must be a for-profit organization.
Okay, thank you. Our next question, are there certain types of businesses that should get certified? What industries would benefit from certification?
Well, I'll take a stab at that real quick. With that, if you've driven on any roads in South Carolina, you know that if you're in the highway construction, you definitely need to be certified. We are in the process of doing, our budget has actually tripled as a result of the gas tax. So we'll be doing about $3 billion worth of construction work. So if you do everything from hauling to rebar to even things like outreach events, then it helps to be certified. But in addition, if you are a small business and you're not in the construction arena, we also, we buy products and services like anybody else. Recently, this year, we actually started a small business purchase program, whereby if there's a contract between $10,000 and $25,000, all of our offices are required to have at least 3 bids. And one of those bids must be from a minority-owned business. Does that guarantee you a contract? No, but at least it allows you an opportunity to get your foot in the door with those types of contracts.
Great, thank you so much, Greg. Our next question, where is the list of NACE codes for women-owned businesses?
That is off. If you go to the websites that are on the slides under the Women-Owned Small Business Program, you go to that website and it'll give you a list to download.
Thank you so much. I am a non-minority woman business owner. Can I certify with CVMSDC?
As you need to be with GWBC for a non-minority. So we just handle ethnic minority women. When I was an MBE, I had the GWBC as well as CVMSDC, but you have to be an ethnic minority to get our certification. So Roz is the one for you.
Okay, should a tax preparer get certified?
If the tax preparer wants to deal with larger clients, but also keep in mind that the certification is about the network that you're going to be connected with. It's about the development that you're going to get, access, right, and advocacy. So it depends on what you want to do with your business. But I would say, yes, I would not exclude any industry from certification.
Great,
And
thank
also,
you.
Right, and also, you're receiving the opportunity to, what Dominique said, is kind of building your customer base. And these are different environments of which you'll be able to do that. So that would be the value proposition of you getting certified, of picking up potential clients. And it's not, corporations, it's other women businesses, it's other minority businesses. They all need the service. So it's definitely an opportunity to do that.
Great, thank you. This one is a little tricky. I am the founder of a diversity, equity, and inclusion consulting firm, and we offer diversity data, workshops, training, and certification. Which of the groups today do you recommend I start with?
Is this as far as getting certified?
Yes.
I think,
Go ahead.
I think that's a decision, that a personal decision that has to be made, of looking at the fact of, one, your time, because there's an E word that needs to happen with any certification, and that's engagement, and looking at how you're going to be engaged with any of these organizations. It's no different than your degree. If it's on the, just sitting on the side on the wall, I don't know too many jobs that walk in your door and say, I'm hiring you. So you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to be engaged. You're going to have to be involved and look at it and test drive all of us. That's something that you should do, because as Dominique mentioned, as well as I mentioned, there are some of our events that don't require you to be certified in order to participate. Now, there are components of that event that will only look at certified businesses, but at least you'll be able to test drive and then to make that decision as to how you're going to prioritize, the certifications that you're interested in.
Great, thank you.
And with the certifications, it always ends up coming back around to marketing and networking too. I mean, you have to do that for your business, and you could get as many certifications as you want, but if you don't take that final step to get out there and meet some people and find out where the opportunities are too, you have to take that step.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, Shakira, but this is a big question that comes out because some people get so confused about which certification to start with, and I agree with what Roz said. You can start with any one of us, test drive all of us. The one certification I would tell you to shy away from as a startup is the 8A certification. We were 8A certified, and I would say make sure that your business is robust and ready to do business before you go through that length of paperwork to get 8A certified, because you don't want to lose any of those years that you're granted the 8A certification. Right. So be ready to take on those big contracts or bid on those big contracts before you even apply for 8A certification. It is not a beginning business proposition.
Great. Thank you so much. Are there certifications for women age 60 and up?
Well,
for the women owned, we don't care what age you are.
Right. For women,
you're eligible,
right. So there's no age requirement, because this is a business certification. And the goal is, as long as it's a woman or women who own the business. So regardless of the age, and believe it or not, we have some women-owned businesses that are in their late 70s, almost 80s, who own their business.
Wow. Another question along that same vein, can you be socially disadvantaged if you are 60 and up?
I hope not. Speaking of someone who's 60 and up.
Yeah, I'm having trouble.
Right.
I think it's important to look at what the definition is of socially disadvantaged, as opposed to thinking that it's an age requirement.
Quite frankly, Oprah Winfrey is over 60 and she's a woman and she's African-American. She's not disadvantaged.
Exactly. She wouldn't meet the criteria of small business, right?
And our last question of the afternoon, will submitting the US DOT Uniform DBE and the ACDBE certification application work for all certifications?
No. It works for, as I mentioned, the governor's office, you sign an affidavit. Many cities and counties will allow you to sign an affidavit. However, on Dominique's and Roz's program, they have their own criteria and their own certification process.
Okay, great. I said that was the last question, but this one came in, and this is from a young entrepreneur. And a lot of us many times deal with a seasoned business person, but this young lady says, do you have anything for young entrepreneurs?
And I'll jump in there. Go ahead, Roz.
Well, believe it or not, WeBank has an initiative and program, and it's called Next Gen. And what it focuses on are young women entrepreneurs. And not only that, we also have an initiative where we reach out to college students who are entrepreneurs. And I have to say, I don't think I'm worried about the next generation of businesses, because they are awesome and fabulous in how they approach business and the ideas that they have, the ideation that they utilize. So we do have those programs available for our next generation, because our goal is to reach and make sure that we're creating a pipeline, in this case for the women-owned businesses. But believe it or not, we even have another program called Planet Mogul that goes even beyond that to 8th grade. And the purpose of that, and that includes boys and girls, because we want to introduce entrepreneurship to them. So keep that in mind and understand that, yes, there is an opportunity. We think this is one of the best places for you to be, is to get involved in an organization like NMSDC or WeBank as a young entrepreneur. One, so that your core is set, that you have your business structured as it should be structured, so that it is sustainable. Plus, taking lessons from those who've already blazed the trail, right, of business mistakes. So you want to learn from those as well. And, any of the speakers that are represented today, with the different organizations, reach out to them, because there's, again, no age requirement as far as certification. We actually certified, believe it or not, a 9 and 11-year-old company. At one point, we had to certify the mother because she was over 18, but it was actually the daughters who started the business. And they have been very successful.
And if I may add.
I'll ditto that. Yeah, go
After-
ahead. I was gonna say, I ditto that, because we have what's called the next generation of our work, and we have pitch competitions and mentors. So yes, absolutely.
I also concur, and quite frankly, congratulations to the young person who's starting their business. One opportunity you may want to take advantage of is internships. All state agencies have interns. Quite frankly, at SCDOT, we're hiring about 55 interns for this summer. Now, the internships typically, they're advertised in February. So if you wait until May, it's way too late. These internships, hours, for example, for college students, you may make $13 to $16 an hour. But the biggest piece is the fact that you get experience from professionals. You learn the ins and outs. The days of interns making coffee and making copies are over. We use it as a learning experience. So I would strongly suggest that you look at, the internships that are available, the paid internships, because there are a lot of them out there.
Great, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this time to thank each and every one of you for participating in today's certifications webinar. And I especially want to give a huge shout out to all of our presenters. We've received some wonderful information today, lots of stuff to think about, lots of stuff to digest and absorb. But we certainly hope that you found this information useful and that you can put it to work as you forge ahead in your business endeavors. Please remember that all webinar attendees today will receive a PDF copy of today's presentation. And the presentation will contain live links of all the information you received today. So you'll be sent a brief survey as well at the end of today's presentation. We need to know how we're doing. We need to know if we're hitting the mark or missing it, or if there's anything else that you'd like to see us do later on down the line. So just be sure to let us know how we're doing. Now, our next slide is just some additional information that you all can use. But when you ask yourself how you can help your business grow, make sure you've got the right tools in your toolbox. Make sure, as our presenter said today, that you've got the correct certifications that are going to move you forward, that are going to be beneficial to your business. So before you just start applying for everything, be thoughtful about your choices and make sure that you're doing the right thing, and seek out these professionals for advice, because that's what they're here for. They're here to guide you and to help your business succeed. Now, as far as resources go, there are a lot of organizations, local municipalities that were not represented today. So we put together a small list of city and county resources that you all can contact for additional information if you didn't get any information about some place that you're interested in today. These are live links, so when you get your electronic copy, you'll just be able to click on your link. You don't have to type all of this in. Again, I want to thank everyone for participating. This has been a huge success for us, and we thank you for taking the time and sticking with us. We know it's run a little bit long, but it was so very worth it. And again, thank you to all of the presenters. I certainly appreciate it, as do all of our presenters. We appreciate your time and attentiveness. Don't forget to fill out the survey when you receive it via email. And thank you so much. And you all have a wonderful afternoon and be safe this Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.